We are HTLA Radio 1. You will lower your shields and prepare to be boarded. We will add your distinctiveness, your advertisers, and your sponsors to our own. Resistance is futile.
From all of us at HTLA Radio 1 New York, happy holidays! Good afternoon, good evening. It is December 23rd, and you are tuned in to HTLA Radio 1 New York and Straight Talk with Kate and Crash, huh?
Yeah. Well, we were just doing the Straight Talk thing now, but yes. And if you are listening and you can hear me,
yes,
then you are listening to HTLA Radio 1 New York. Merry Christmas!
Merry Christmas, meeps.
Yes, that's right. We're bringing you a very, very different kind of show tonight, simply because we're just, we just hit the button and we're going and that's it. And normally, we have our spiel that we do to promote familiarity for our listeners.
Un spiel, yeah. Well, one thing I need to say to you, Miss Kate, is that tonight's episode is, of course...
Oh.
Powered by Procast.
Oh, yeah. No, we can never forget that. My goodness gracious.
There you go, yeah?
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And, this is not one of our normally produced kind of scripted dealios of social conscious and awareness and all that good, exciting stuff.
This is a special show.
Yes. Tonight it's just us in the raw. And
we're nude.
That's it. Ourselves, and that's it. And actually, what happened was I was out in the kitchen, covered from head to toe in flour, baking and doing all this stuff. And I said, "Oh my God, I've got a show tonight."
It's 8:45. Yes, that's what she said.
OMG. Christmas, no Christmas. The show must go on. So here we are. And this is what we're doing. And we've decided that since it's Christmas, and since there's been so much utter putrid debate about Christmas, its origins, et cetera, that we are giving you Christmas around the world.
And we are not going to mention anything about Duck Dynasty.
No, we are not. And that Twitter debacle, unreal. If in case you people don't know, our listeners, our beautiful listeners, Twitter has taken to becoming the thought police. And they have banned and blocked hashtags. Now we're not on the position of Roberts in any way, but we are of the position that everybody's entitled to their own opinion, stupid or not. And if they own it, they should keep it, and they have a right to it. End of story. That's it, right? I don't expect anything more than I would expect for myself, and that's it. But Twitter has taken it upon itself, as the giant global entity that it is, to block any kind of hashtags or references to the istandwithphil.com website. Which, okay, the website itself, okay, whatever. But the fact that Twitter's blocking its users' access to it via their site has completely and totally denounced what Twitter is and what it was intended to be. And that is saying whatever you want to say in 140 characters. Full stop.
Yeah.
Right. So, yes, that's it. And that's it. Yeah. So, but we're not going to go that way because it's Christmas, right?
No.
We're not doing our social, global conscious of the world thing tonight.
As much as we want to, yes.
Right, because that's this show, you know.
That is correct.
Right.
There you have it. So, before we get into too much of anything else, I do need to point out tonight that tonight's show is brought to you by the fine folks at PreSonus.
Yay!
For all their mixing and audio joy that they spread to the world throughout the year. Also by MXL microphones, which are giving us the golden tones you're hearing right now. Oh, yeah. See, now your microphone was advertised as the 2003 breathy, warm, sexy. There we go.
Oh, that explains why you bought it for me for Sex and the Kitty and all that.
Yeah.
To make my kitty even more kittenish.
That's right. And this one is supposed to make me sound like Barry White.
No.
No?
No, you're better. Sexier than Barry White to me.
Okay. All
but
right,
that's just me, baby.
I'll go with that, baby. Yeah. So I guess the only other thing that needs mentioning before we carry into our World of Christmas special is to let y'all know that you can come and listen to any of our shows. We have several through the week, actually 7. You can come on by HTLA973.com 24/7, 365. It is open for Christmas and New Year's. And you can check out all the great golden throat goodness that we have to offer you there.
Plus, every week we do our webisode, video webisode for you. So
that's right, and I do have to say that it's done and up and posted to YouTube, and I just haven't shared it out to the pages yet. I'll do that right after the show.
Yes, sir, you will. Yes, you will. Because I was there yesterday looking for the link for someone who had inquired, and, well, what do you know? Only last season was there. The new season's not there yet.
Oh, I think you're looking at the wrong account, because I got smart this year, and I made a special HTLA Radio 1 YouTube account specifically for all of our shows and webisodes.
Right, but it's not on HTLA973.com's video page yet.
Yes.
So somebody's getting coal in their stocking.
Oh.
Anyhow.
All right, fine.
Okay, so we decided with all the hubbub that is, the debacle about Christmas and banning red and green and banning Christmas trees and we should have a penguin Santa, all this kind of stuff.
Wow.
I know.
Yeah.
That we would educate about Christmas traditions around the world and origins and such and get the record straight once and for all, because that's just what we do.
Oh, that is what we do. You're absolutely right. In fact, we're called upon several times a year to be involved in Supreme Court cases in
verifying facts and figures.
Our verification and research comes into play numerous times. So, you can thank us for gay marriage.
No, not us.
No?
No.
All right.
Yes.
I'll digress. So, I guess I'll hand it over to you, my esteemed little elf, to kick off the Christmas World of Christmas Straight Talk special.
I like that. Okay, thank you, sir.
Yeah.
All right.
There we go.
Let's talk a little bit about the history of Christmas.
Okay.
Before Christ, what was Christmas?
Oh, it would be
Mess.
Happy soon-to-be Hanukkah?
It was mess.
Ba-dum-cha. There you go. It was mess.
Oh, that's it.
You heard it here first.
Merry mess.
Merry mess.
Merry mess. Actually, that's not far off. All right. Because the middle of winter has long been a time of celebration around the world. Centuries before the arrival of the man that was called Jesus.
Oh.
Early Europeans celebrated light and birth in the darkest days of winter. Okay. Many people rejoiced during the winter solstice when the worst of winter was behind them and they could actually look forward to longer days and extended hours of sunlight. In Scandinavia, the Norse celebrated Yule from December 21st, the winter solstice, through January. And in recognition of the return of the sun, fathers and sons would bring home large logs, which they would set on fire. And that's the tradition of Yule. And the people would feast until the log burned out, which could take as many as 12 days. So, they really partied hardy there, right? And the Norse believed that each spark from the fire represented a new pig or calf that would be born during the coming year. And I think that's so cool.
That's very cool.
Well, yeah, we hope
Wow.
not too many sparks going from our fireplace this year.
Actually,
Just got done with that thing.
Christmas before Christ actually had meaning. Ba-dum-cha!
Yeah, for real.
There you go, kids. Stick that in your stockings.
And the end of December, which we consider New Year, was actually a perfect time for celebration in most areas of Europe, because at that time of the year, most cattle were slaughtered so they wouldn't have to be fed during the winter. I mean, that's kind of sad for me to think, because I love what you did to animals. But
Well, those cattle are actually a heck of a lot bigger than you.
doesn't matter. I still kiss their noses and tell them they're cute and all that good stuff. But I understand they didn't have like McDonald's or anything, so people had to eat. They had to do it. What are they going to do?
Oh, yes,
Couldn't
all
just
those
run down to a Bon Pont and get some soup or something.
all those poor peasants before McDonald's was around.
I know, it's just a shame. And so for many, that time of the winter was the only time of year they actually had a fresh supply of meat.
Sure.
Right.
Yeah.
So, in addition, most wine and beer made during the year.
Oh.
Yes, very, very, very important, this part. Was finally fermented and actually ready for drinking. Woohoo! Yeah. Why don't you tell the folks about Germany?
Germany, huh? I was going to tell them about Santa Claus.
No, we're not there yet.
Oh,
You have to stick to the pseudo script here.
Oh, man.
Yeah, before Jesus. Right, there you go. See
Okay, well, in Germany, people honored the pagan god Odin, as I do, during the midwinter holiday. Germans were terrified of Odin, as they were with Hitler, and they believed that he made nocturnal flights through the sky to observe his people.
Hence, well, time out. Any correlation to Santa and his sleigh there, people? Oh, gosh. Go on.
Well, I don't know yet. Hang on.
Because then he would do what?
Well, he would decide who would prosper or who would perish.
That's right. Kind of like Santa with the naughty or bad or good thing, right?
The good list and the bad list. Now, because of his presence, many people chose to stay inside.
Yeah.
Kind of like the Messerschmitts when they come down.
That's right. Can't see me. Doesn't know what I'm doing. That's right.
Now, Saturnalia
Right, in Rome,
in Rome, where winters were not as harsh as those in the far north.
No.
Saturnalia, a holiday in honor of Saturn, the god of agriculture, was celebrated. Now, beginning in the week leading up to the winter solstice and continuing for a full month, Saturnalia was a hedonistic time when food and drink were plentiful and the normal Roman social order was turned upside down.
Sounds like my kind of party.
Oh, honey. Well,
Uh-oh, wait, I'm not cool with this part, though.
Oh, I don't know. For a month, slaves would become master. Well, no, that's a little retarded.
Yeah, no.
Slaves would become masters. Peasants were in command of the city.
Wait a second. Imagine if we did that here for a month.
No.
Oh, man.
Business and schools were closed so that everyone could join the quote-unquote fun.
Yeah, we think 10 days Gia home from school is a nightmare. Imagine for a whole month.
It is. Also around the time of the winter solstice, Romans observed Juvenalia.
Ah.
Ah, yes, the feast honoring the children of Rome. Ah, my, how we long for those children of Rome. In strange ways, yes.
Yes.
In addition, members of the upper classes often celebrated the birthday of Mithra. No, not Mothra. Mithra, the god of the unconquerable sun.
On when?
On
Pray tell.
December 25th.
Well, look at that.
Now, it was believed that Mithra, an infant god...
Oh,
Was
an
the-
infant?
Yes.
Huh,
Yes.
look at that.
Baby. Was born of a rock. As opposed to Jesus, which was born of a rock head. Ba-dum-cha! Now, for some Romans, Mithra's birthday was the most sacred day of the year. In the early years of Christianity, Easter was the main holiday. The birth of Jesus was not celebrated. Next window.
Yeah, definitely.
Get 'em out of there.
See, the point is, though, we've placed so much emphasis on so many things.
Yeah.
And, we like to claim things as our own, but life existed, before
Long.
the Bible, before all this kind of stuff. And
Long before Twitter.
yeah, long before Twitter. That's right. Absolutely. But let us just for, sake talk about, Jesus and his part in the holiday, right? Because in the Western world, the birthday of Jesus has been always celebrated as December 25th since AD 354. And that was due to they did that partly to replace the pagan worship that was commonplace in those days.
Damn
right?
pagans.
But here's the thing. We can be fairly sure that Jesus wasn't actually born on that date.
Mm-hmm. Yes, true.
Right. First of all, if he was, he'd be a Capricorn. He'd be really introspective. So, knowing what we know about astrology, it was a very unlikely Jesus was Capricorn. He was more likely a Libra and or Aquarius. But that's just my opinion. Anyhow. Okay, he might have been a Gemini, though. He wandered about and talked a lot. Okay, anyway. So the Bible tells us that shepherds were staying out in the fields overnight when Jesus was born, right? But that part of the world, it would have been far too cold at night to do so in December. Mm-hmm. So there you go, clue number one, folks. More likely, he was born in the spring, but perhaps between March and May. See, May he'd be a Gemini, see?
Mm-hmm. You called it.
I did. Whatever the time of year, it's virtually impossible to identify the actual date because there aren't any written records. So, there aren't any written records, people. Got it?
Not even made up ones.
Not even made up ones. Yes. The papacy doesn't even claim to know, okay? In 525, the Pope, right, decided to calculate new cycles for fixing the date of Easter. And he decided to base his calculations on the date of Jesus' birth. Unfortunately, it wasn't discovered until the 9th century that he got it badly wrong. And by which time, it was too late to change the calendar.
Dun, 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 dun.
That is the only reason we celebrate Jesus' birthday on December 25th.
Wow.
That's the only reason. Because we feel everybody knows the calendar. It's too late to change it now. Okay? It's just too late.
Is that like the grand... Oh!
Yes, that was the grandest dough of all. Exactly.
Wow.
Right. First of all, historians can't agree whether he was born in 1 BC or 1 AD.
Oh, that could be a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so they began counting from the latter.
It's almost like trying to get Obama's birth certificate.
Right. But both earlier and later scholars agree that he was born at a much earlier date than 1 BC or AD. So in other words, he's way older than we even think he is.
Ah.
Okay.
Okay.
Now, Herod died in the spring of 4 BC. And if Jesus had been born at the start of AD 1, as we currently have it, then Jesus would have been born some 4 or 5 years after Herod died. Now, as we know, Herod is the king that got his people to crucify him.
Yeah,
So, kind of how's that possible? Right. I'm not here to decimate anybody's idea of Jesus and Christmas and all that.
I absolutely am.
You know, but as the truth bringers, we must bring the truth, right? Mm-hmm. So, the important thing, though, is that he was born. And we give him a nominal birth date of December 25th. It seems as good as any to celebrate his birth and his message.
Sure,
That's what's more important than anything is his message. It's true, because he preached the same thing that I always say. We're all the same on the inside. Love everybody, et cetera, et cetera.
Oh, okay.
And that's all that
right.
is.
All right, I'll stick with that.
Okay, so that's fine. I mean, you know, the church is the one that used that to manipulate the flock and twist it and do all that terrible stuff because they're just an organization like any other organization. Mm-hmm. But, you know, Jesus was a wonderful man, and he was real, and he did exist, and he did preach nothing but love, and he was martyred for his belief that was different than the current modus operandi here. Mm-hmm. So, you know, for that reason alone, you know, he kept to the idea that we should just love each other and that's it. And you have to respect that no matter what. So there you go.
Sure. Okay.
Okay.
Well, let's cut in a little bit to King Herod here because he's one of my heroes. When Jesus was born in Bethlehem of Judea in the days of Herod the king, behold,
that's what they say, right?
There came wise men, yes, from the east to Jerusalem, saying, "Come to stay in our hotel in Dubai." Oh, no, that's not what they said. They said, "Where is he that is kind of the Jews? For we have seen his star in the east, and are come to worship him."
That's right.
This is when Herod the king had heard these things, he was troubled, and all Jerusalem with him, for that matter. And when he had gathered all of the chief priests and scribes of the people together, he demanded of them where Christ should be born. And they said unto him, quote, "In Bethlehem of Judea, for thus it is written by the prophet, And thou, Bethlehem, in the land of Judea, art not the least among princes of Judea. Out of these shall come a governor that shall rule my people Israel." There we go. So then Herod, getting all this disturbing news, had privily called the wise men, inquired of them diligently what time the star appeared. And he sent them to Bethlehem and said, Go and search diligently for the young child, and when ye have found him, bring me word again, that I may come and worship him also.
Liar.
Well, cut off his head, but I knew that was coming. When they had heard the king, they departed, and lo, the star which they saw in the east went before them, till it came and stood over where the young child was. When they saw the star, they rejoiced, and exceeding great joy. Actually, I think it was drunken camel riding, but
Yeah.
that's just me.
Like our ride on the bus home on our honeymoon.
Oh, yeah.
Delirium. Just delirium. Yeah.
And when they were come into the house, they saw the young child with Mary, his mother, and fell down and worshipped him. And they had opened their treasures. They had presented unto him gifts, gold and frankincense.
And myrrh.
And myrrh.
Don't forget the myrrh.
Yes, it's the Myrrh Griffin Show. And being warned of God in a dream that they should not return to Herod, they departed into their own country another way. And we have this whole Syria and Israel thing. See,
and that's why Herod was mad, because he just like dissed him and didn't come back.
Oh, absolutely. I'd be pissed too.
Yeah.
You know, I wanted to cut some heads off, but... All right, well, and they were departed. Behold, the angel of the Lord appeareth to Joseph in a dream, saying, Rise and take the young child and his mother, and flee into Egypt. And be thou there until I bring thee word, for Herod will seek the young child to destroy him. See, they were onto him.
Yeah, they were onto him. Well, it's all written in retrospect, so of course you can get dramatic and all that. Then everybody knew conflict makes a good story, so.
That's true. And then when last heard, he rose, he took the young child and his mother by night and departed into Egypt, and that's all we know.
That's it. Mm-hmm. Well, there you have it. And then that's kind of the way it is. Now, I have something really interesting for you. Old Christmas Day.
Okay.
Right. Now, until the time of Julius Caesar, the Roman year was organized around the phases of the moon, right? And for the many reasons, this was hopelessly inaccurate. So, on the advice of his astronomers, Julius instituted a calendar centered around the sun. It was decreed, this is very, very interesting, so everybody pay attention.
Okay.
It was decreed that 1 year was to consist of 365 and a quarter days, divided into 12 months. The month of Quirinus was renamed July to commemorate the Julian reform. Unfortunately, despite the introduction of leap years, the Julian calendar overestimated the length of the year by 11 minutes, 15 seconds. Can you imagine? The travesties. I know. Which comes to 1 day every 128 years. By the 16th century, the calendar was 10 days out. In 1582, reforms instituted by Pope Gregory XIII lopped the 11 minutes, 15 seconds off the length of a year and deleted the spare 10 days. Just hit the delete key.
Yeah, it's like George Bush.
Yeah. This new Gregorian calendar, though, was adopted throughout Catholic Europe. Now, wait, here's where it gets really cool and interesting and amazing. Protestant Europe wasn't going to be told what to do or what day it was by the Pope. They just weren't.
No.
So they kept to the old Julian calendar. This meant that London was a full 10 days ahead of Paris.
Uh-oh.
Could you imagine? The English also kept the 25th of March as New Year's Day, rather than the 1st of January. So, by the time England came around to adopting the Gregorian calendar in the middle of the 18th century,
Wow.
Shocking. England was 11 days ahead of the continent.
Only in their minds.
But
people.
wait, there's more. A calendar act was passed in 1751, which stated that in order to bring England into line, the day following the 2nd of September, 1752, was to be called the 14th, rather than the 3rd of September. Unfortunately, many people weren't able to understand this simple maneuver and thought that the government had stolen 11 days of their lives. Seriously.
Boy.
In some parts, the peasants rioted and shouted, "Give us back our 11 days." I know, right? Insanity. Before the calendar was reformed, England celebrated Christmas on the equivalent of the 6th of January by our modern Gregorian reckoning. This is why in some parts of Great Britain, people still call the 6th of January Old Christmas Day.
Wow.
Yes. Very cool, right? And on that note, we're going to have our first commercial break.
Whew.
Yep.
Yeah.
And when we come back, though, we're going to talk about the origins of Santa. And this is going to really, really be awesome. So,
Blow you
2 minutes. Stay with us.
away.
With 160 more miles per tank, the distances aren't getting shorter. The trucks are going farther. The new 2013 Ram 1500. With the best-in-class fuel economy, engineered to move heaven and earth. Guts, glory, Ram.
At LG, we dreamed of a day when you could rely on the perfect kitchen. We dreamed of a day when a dishwasher wouldn't require any pre-rinsing, when a refrigerator could be uniquely designed for better access and storage, when a washer could save 20 minutes on larger loads, and an oven would take minutes to clean instead of hours. And for you, that day is now.
The world is facing one of the biggest crises in the history of history. Girls are getting hotter and hotter. This is causing guys to lose their cool. It's happening everywhere. That's why the people at Axe have developed the new Axe Chill collection. It helps guys keep their cool before it's too late. Girls are getting hotter. Keep your cool with the new Chill collection from Axe.
Have I got a treat for you? New clean whipped cream foundation from CoverGirl. A delicious new recipe whipped up by Clean Makeup. They took their clean, fresh foundation, added a dash of hydration, then whipped it to smooth, matte perfection. Finally, a non-drying whip that wears like a dream. What a treat from Clean. New clean whipped cream from easy, breezy, beautiful CoverGirl.
From all of us at HTLA Radio 1 New York, happy holidays.
And happy everything you could possibly celebrate this week from us here at HTLA Radio 1 New York. You are listening to Kate and Crash, and this is Straight Talk for Monday, December 23rd, 2013. Do you realize that's... Oh, no, it's not the last Straight Talk of 2013. Next week will be.
Right.
Right. So... we briefly covered the origins of, pagan celebratory events in wintertime. And now I would very much like to talk about the history of Santa Claus because...
Winterklasse?
It's such a huge thing now. Penguin Santa Claus.
Well, I just want to interject something here before you go.
I hope the idiots are listening that want a penguin Santa Claus. Sorry, but I do.
Actually, I've got a really good penguin joke that would fit right there. Yeah, prostitutes, it's good. Trust me.
Yeah. 3 penguins in a barn.
As much as I love Santa Claus and I loved Christmas growing up as a kid and all that good stuff and, wasn't hampered down with midnight mass and all that Roman Catholic garb.
Oh, I was.
Well, so was I, but I'm just trying to block
really,
it out.
what are you talking about?
No. I just like to say something here just before we get into Santa Claus that, as far as I'm concerned... I don't care what religion or history or background or what part of the planet you come from. This tradition is pretty simple, straightforward, and innocuous.
Right.
And for someone to come along and say that they want to change any of that, not only do I find offensive, I'll go to war over that.
Yeah, I mean, we stick up for our country and all the ridiculousness that this country actually stands for in this day and age, but we're going to let that go?
No.
I don't think so, Tim.
Nope.
You'd be messing with my fat, jolly, bearded man.
That's right, because he's hung like a bull.
And his bringers and, since I'm the equivalent of Mrs. Claus here.
Well, I mean, what's next? Is Rudolph... We're going to have to change Rudolph's name because that's too Russian?
No, his nose is red, God forbid. He's different. We have to do something.
Oh, he must be suffering the plague.
Something's going on.
Yeah, well, long and the short is, I just wanted to get that out there before... you got into the brief history
and
there.
I will. But I also have to say one more thing, because this is a point that's becoming my new mantra for 2014. And it's something that I want the entire world to know. And I'm going to say it over and over and over and over again until it gets in everybody's head. There is no such thing as political correctness. Because if you're being politically correct, then you're automatically denouncing the other person's opinion, which isn't politically correct.
It denounces itself.
So there you go. So political correctness is probably the epitome of oxymoronic.
Well, and it has nothing to do
redundancy.
With politics either.
It has nothing to do with anything. It's just a nice fancy term that people came up with because they were too sensitive for reality. And the reality is everybody's entitled to their opinion. And if you don't like it, suck it.
And that's the thing. Ooh, I like it when you say "suck it," except that's my line.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Yeah, why
felt
do I
kind of
like
weird.
You say, "Well, jeez, maybe I'm gay. I better come out of the closet. I want a parade." Yeah, the interesting thing there is that I do want a parade, but I don't get one.
I don't get a parade for being a heterosexual, non-feminist mom. Thanks.
No.
Where's my parade?
With the Hello Kitty balloon in front of Macy's.
Yeah, especially.
See?
Yeah.
You've got a right to it, just like, everybody's got a right to their thing.
Yeah.
What the hell?
That's right.
I don't see any PC movements going to the Supreme Court to get rights for,
well, that's
traditional
another
mothers
thing. Just like political correctness is redundant. Anytime someone's rights are supported that are alternative, it takes away from my right to be traditional. Ooh. Because I have to explain and I have to justify my choice to be traditional.
Isn't that interesting?
It is interesting and true, and interesting and true.
But this is, I think, why there was so much diversity on the planet Earth before we started moving everybody into one central location. Because, yes, now we have a cultural melting pot. But
all it's done is melded everything together. We can't respect anything.
Everybody's beliefs and religions and everything else completely conflict and countermand with everybody else. And when you stick them all into a room and put a knife in the middle of the room, what do you think is going to happen?
Well, the point is that I used to be really jazzed about going to different countries and experiencing and learning other cultures. And I had, very much respect because, if you remember the beginnings and the origin of Fierce Kitty Omni Medias were all the same on the inside. I mean, I used to sit here and say, I don't care what country you're from, what language you speak, what kind of food you eat. We all want our kids to be happy. We all want to have love and success in our lives. We all go to bed at night, doing it. We're all the same. We just do it in different ways.
Right.
And that should be the only thing that matters. So to respect the cultures and traditions of other people and how they carry out those same life things that I do is what was interesting and awesome.
Right.
And you've taken all that away by throwing us all together and saying that, forcing me to be okay with everything. You don't allow me to choose.
Here's another thing before we completely blow our Christmas special.
Yeah, because I'm going there.
The other thing is, too, is it makes me wonder what all these people in all these different cultures around the globe come here for. They're coming here for what? Capitalism, and to pile into the subway with me in the morning and go out and earn their living and be American? Because if you're American, Americans don't do that.
Don't do what?
Impose their will on other Americans. We recognize...
Wait, we don't do that. We didn't do that. We didn't used to do that.
Well, okay, America's always imposed their will on everybody else on the planet, but that's not what I'm talking about.
We're doing it now on each other. That's what I'm saying.
A conversation?
Mm-hmm.
Well, you see, now, you have a differing idea than me.
Look at that chick who tweeted on the plane to Africa.
Right.
That's her opinion, people. It was a funny thing she thought was funny. You don't think it's funny? Too bad.
Well, and see, this is the thing. All growing up and all through my past 46 years, if I didn't like something that somebody else said or did, I could just suck it up.
Yeah. What happened to sucking it up?
And I saw a very interesting statement by a very smart man on Twitter the other day. He says, if burning the American flag is my freedom of expression and protected in this country, what's going to happen to me if I burn a rainbow flag?
Exactly.
Oh, I bet you that wouldn't go by unnoticed or unscathed, would it?
And now we have a serious problem when the rights of that, and not that, look, I've always been a proponent of live and let live. Whatever you want to do, whatever makes you happy, that's fine. And I don't impose my traditional family on you. The way we live is more controversial than the way other people live now. I have a patriarchal household. God forbid. I have a traditional family where my husband is the head of the household, and we all live under his rule, and it's all good. And
you know what's really hard for me to accept and deal with?
What?
All my other buddies.
What?
All my other buddies. All my other married buddies with kids and everything that I've got here with you.
Yeah.
if I want to take them out to the football game, hey, John, I've got 2 tickets to the LA Raiders versus the Saskatchewan
Whomever.
Hoo-Hoos.
He doesn't know sports. Don't listen to him.
No. But you see, I don't need to have those phony aggression things because I just come home and fuck you in the butt. And, oh, did I say the bad word?
Yes, he did. It's Christmas. Definitely get cold now. Oh,
let me rewind. Okay, I'll just come home and make love to you, baby.
No, you don't do that either.
Well, okay. Well, see, what...
Ravaged. Come on,
yes,
be creative.
There we are. Yes, we'll go back to biblical times. I've ravished...
Our Viking sex. I call it Viking sex.
But you see, they all got to check with their wives before they can go out to football with me. And 9 times out of 10, it's no, you have to go and take the babies to the park, or you have to go walk the dog, or you have to do laundry. And I'm not even kidding. OMG.
I can't even fathom.
You know, and it used to be good in the early days being married to you because, I could joke around with the guys and bug them about being pussy whipped, but some of them are getting to the point where I actually don't do that anymore because
it's true.
They're so hurt inside and crushed that
we've emasculated our men.
They're actually kind of making me think that they're going to be suicidal if I push it too much more. So what the hell is that? But sorry, I went off on a sideline there.
That's okay. It's true because the point of the matter is this. And it goes back to my conversation about Christmas. I will not ever. And you know what, people? I haven't done anything publicly because I believe everybody has a right to their opinion. And no one has the right to tell me I can't live a traditional tower exchange relationship within my own home, so I'm not going to tell you what to do in yours. But if you start messing with my ability to give my 14-month-old son a traditional Christmas, we're going to have an issue.
We're going down, baby.
We are seriously going to have an issue because that's just too much. And it's gone too far now. And it's bad enough that, I have to worry about raising my son to be a real man in this world and what that means. The kid's getting Santa. Over my dead body, he's getting Santa. So, yeah, there you go.
Don't be screwing with what he wears or what color he is.
Yeah, that's right. You just leave the fat man alone.
Well, let's go to the history there and see if he really was fat.
Yeah, let's see. What is the up with Santa? So he was born St. Nicholas in 280 AD in Patara in the city of Lycia in Asia Minor. He's actually Asian. Santa's Asian. Suck it. Okay? He became the gift giver of Myra. His gifts were given late, and more Mongolian, though, really, I think, probably.
Yes, I think Mongolian would be more accurate, but here's the ultimate question, and I think this goes back to some of the people out there talking about the Bible. Where do you get a name like Nicholas in Asia?
Well, because Asia Minor was then ruled by Russia.
Nicholas.
Right. So, exactly. So his gifts were given late at night, so the gift giver's identity would remain a secret. And they called him Nicholas. St. Nicholas was eventually named the patron saint of children, sailors, Russia, and Greece. Because don't forget, the Orthodoxy is very much like the old Russian Orthodox as well.
Hey, sailor.
There you go. St. Nicholas, ready? St. Nicholas was a Christian priest who later became a bishop. He was a very wealthy person, and he traveled the country helping people, giving gifts of money and other presents. St. Nicholas did not like to be seen when he gave away presents because, he didn't have the same ego as all everybody else does.
Clearly.
Yeah. So the children of the day were told to go to sleep quickly or he wouldn't come. Nothing has changed. Nothing has changed. Wait, can I say that again? Nothing has changed since 280 AD about the tradition of Santa.
Dum, dum, dum.
Really? Are you going to really feel better about yourself changing the multi-thousand-year tradition? Really? You think you're going down in the history books or something? Leave it alone. Anyway. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah. Right, so nothing has changed since 280 AD. Sorry, I lost my train of thought there for a minute. And Santa Claus will not arrive this Christmas unless the children go to sleep early, because it's the same now as it was then.
And because Daddy needs his medicine.
No, Daddy needs to put all the toys together. Anyway, okay. And I always tell the kids, too, I say, Santa drops them off and Daddy puts them together. Santa doesn't do that part.
Right. Assembly not included.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Now, there's another famous story about St. Nicholas,
No.
and that is where he was a poor man who had no money to give his 3 daughters on their wedding day. So St. Nick dropped bags of gold into the stockings, which the girls had left to dry by the fire. and the sisters found the gold, and ever since, children have hung up stockings on Christmas Eve, hoping they'll be filled with presents by Christmas morning.
Well, they can forget gold.
Yeah, right. Definitely.
1,300 an ounce? I don't think so.
I know. So, despite being quite young, Nicholas had earned the reputation for kindliness and wisdom. And in the year 303, people, the Roman Emperor Diocletian commanded all the citizens of the Roman Empire, which included Asia Minor at the time, to worship him as a god.
Wow.
How do you like that? Yeah. Christians believed in one God and one God alone, so their conscience wouldn't allow them to obey the emperor's order. Angered by their stubbornness, the emperor warned the Christians that they'd be imprisoned. That's how serious they took Santa, okay? Mm-hmm. You're going to jail if you don't do the Santa thing the right way.
What, no PC?
No PC. So the emperor carried out the threat, and St. Nicholas, who resisted, was also imprisoned. They threw Santa in jail. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay? For more than 5 years, he was confined to a small cell. He suffered cold, hunger, and thirst, but he never wavered in his beliefs. And if he can, then you can. Yeah. In 1313, when the emperor resigned and Constantine came to power, Nicholas was freed, and he returned to his post as the Bishop of Myra. He continued his good works and became even wiser and more understanding by the time of his death on December 6th, 343.
Wow.
So, in the eyes of Catholics, a saint is someone who has lived such a holy life that after dying and going to heaven, he or she is still able to help people on earth. That would be nice, wouldn't it? They often became patron to different groups of people. One such was children, and many legends sprang up to explain his presence. Now, by 450, churches in Asia Minor and Greece were being named in honor of him, and by 800, he was officially recognized as a saint by the Eastern Catholic Church. That would be ours. That would be...
Eastern Catholic would be the Russian.
Right, we're the Westerns.
Ah.
Right, got it. Okay. I'm so confused because we're such a global conglomerate now. Okay. Now, in the 1200s, December 6th began to be celebrated as Bishop Nicholas Day in France.
I'm aware of that, yeah.
Okay. Well, that's because you're Canadian. Mm-hmm. And you know all things French. Right. Okay. By the end of the 1400s, St. Nicholas was the third most beloved religious figure after Jesus and Mary. Okay, let's see. The third most beloved religious figure after Jesus and Mary was who? Santa, people. Mm-hmm. Santa. You're going to change Jesus and Mary? Then you're not changing Santa.
Well,
okay.
They will. Just give them time.
Yeah, well, that's the scary thing, isn't it? And, you think about stuff that we talked about, like Orwell in 1984 and all that stuff, and here it is. And it's not Big Brother that's doing it.
It's ourselves.
It's the sheep that have nothing better to do and absolutely no self-awareness and absolutely no substance that have to go and muck with stuff that have nothing to do with them.
Well, and I'm going to say this, and I'll probably get crucified for this, like literally.
Just don't say bad words.
Okay. But our digital age right now, and Facebook and Twitter and all these platforms and all these people, I look at your Facebook there, you've got 5,050 friends. No, you don't. But you have 5,050 people that are watching everything you post and everything you say and everything you do. And what else are they going to do but sitting in their armchairs watching your posts go by in their feed than pick them apart? Thus the birth of PC.
Well, yeah, fair enough, true enough. Well, I think that, again, it goes back to the fact that we're all just neurotic pansies now and have such thin skin that we just can't allow people to just be people.
Yeah, can't deal with it.
That's right. Yeah.
Anyway, finish up your little dealy there, and then I will get in with Santa in America.
Okay, so by the end of the 1400s, St. Nicholas was the third most beloved religious figure after Jesus and Mary, and there were more than 2,000 chapels and monasteries named after him.
Whoa.
Yeah, and in the 1500s...
That's more than Trump.
Yeah, people in England stopped worshiping St. Nicholas and favored another gift-giving figure.
Satan?
Nope, drum roll, please.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Tommy Lee.
Father Christmas.
You don't say.
I do say. Over the centuries, St. Nicholas's popularity grew, and many people in Europe made up new stories that showed his concern for children. The name Santa Claus was derived from the Dutch. I'm sorry, I've been saying Norwegian all week. I don't know why I've got the Norse on my mind. I just watched Norwegian films recently, so.
It could be the Viking sex.
It could be that, too. But it's from the Dutch Sinterklaas. Okay? All right? So that's where Santa Claus comes from. Early Dutch settlers in New York, once called New Amsterdam. All right, now you're messing with New York tradition.
Forget about
We're really going to have a problem.
Well, seeing as we're talking about New York and problems, I've got a problem with an Italian being the MC of the St. Patrick's Day Parade there. Thank you.
Yeah, sorry, my Irish hubby.
But, of course, I didn't go and make a national case out of it, did I?
No.
And I didn't destroy somebody on Twitter about it, did I?
No.
No.
Because live and let live. What are you going to do?
Well, and there you go.
We have bigger things to worry about.
Yeah.
Yeah. We actually have lives and substance and such. Anyway, as children from other countries tried to pronounce Sinterklaas, this soon became Santa Claus. The old bishop's cloak with mitre, jeweled gloves, and crozier were soon replaced with his red suit and clothing that's seen in other modern images of the day. Okay? So, there you go. And that is the history, my dear friends, of Santa Claus. He was Dutch, he was white, and he was Dutch, and he was European. And he was Dutch, and he was a Catholic and a Christian, and
Oh, come on.
a religious figure, and he was European. And there he is, and there you go. And skinny or fat, he was still white and Christian and European.
Well, somewhere we got to dig up some evidence he was African.
No, we already established he was more Mongolian Russian.
Well, to kind of go more the Eddie Murphy route with things, I'm going to take over now and give you Christmas in America.
Sounds good.
But we got to take a 2-minute break. We'll be right back after this commercial break, and I'll get into my Christmas in America.
Okay.
The Chevy Cruze offers an EPA estimated 36 mpg highway. That's crazy.
Crazy efficient.
10 standard airbags.
And you get StabiliTrak with traction control.
That is like crazy protection. This interior is
insane.
It is insane. I was going to say crazy again.
Visit your local Chevy dealer today. Right now, get this great lease on a 2013 Chevy Cruze LS for around $149 a month.
Fourth down, Coach. What do we do?
I'll tell you what we do. I want you to go on the field, look for anyone with an O. Let's kill them with kindness. Jimmy, I want you to make balloon animals. Tyler, make little tea cozies, something fun. Are you okay? We will win this for Mother Russia!
Coach, eat a Snickers.
Why is that, Chief?
You get a little loopy when you're hungry.
Better.
Now let's go for it!
Go get him, guys!
You're not you when you're hungry. Snickers satisfies.
When you have cable and your picture freezes, you get irritable. When you get irritable, your work suffers. When your work suffers, the wrong man is convicted. When the wrong man is convicted, he has time to think. When he has time to think, he thinks about you a lot. And when he thinks about you a lot, your house explodes. Don't have your house explode. Get rid of cable and upgrade to DirecTV. Call 1-800-DirecTV.
Hey, look at that new Toyota.
Look at that new Toyota.
Before you look at Honda Civic, you better look at this new Toyota Corolla. Now, you can get a 2013 Corolla with 0% financing. Or lease this Corolla LE for just $179 a month.
Look at that new Toyota.
Toyota, let's go places.
HTLA Radio 1.
From all of us at HTLA Radio 1 New York, happy holidays. Yes, happy holidays. Welcome back. Thank you very much for joining us here at HTLA. You are listening to Straight Talk with Kate and Crash and the World of Christmas Special. Yes. Say that again? No. Yes, the Golden Tones are brought to you by MXL Microphones. Yes, giving you the golden sweetness.
I'm all about the platinum.
Right. Well, you check your stocking in a couple of days here, and you might find a platinum microphone.
Oh, I know what a platinum microphone.
MXL.
Platinum.
Yeah.
Something else.
Yeah. What? Okay. Well, now it's time for Christmas in America.
That's right. And we have some really interesting timeline here for you about that, actually.
Do we ever? Going back to the 1600s and bringing you all the way forward to 1997.
That's quite a timeline, dear.
I know. I'm old.
No, you didn't do it.
Oh, no. Okay. No. All right. Wasn't me.
No. Not this time, anyway.
Yeah. Okay. Well, back in the 1600s, the Puritans made it illegal to mention St. Nicholas's name.
Ooh.
They were very PC.
They were very pure.
Mm-hmm. People were not allowed to exchange gifts. No. You were not allowed to light a candle.
Well, that's kind of suckish at nighttime.
And you were not allowed to sing Christmas carols.
How did they see if they weren't allowed to light a candle?
My kind of place. If I could only go back to the 1600s.
No. Well, for other reasons.
Well, in the 17th century, Dutch immigrants brought with them the legend of Sinterklaas.
Yeah. Sinterklaas. I just love to say that. It rolls off the tongue. Sinterklaas.
Sinterklaas und the presents. Yeah.
Sinterklaas. Oh, see, now I'm going to say that all the time.
That's okay. I like it.
Good, me too.
Say it later tonight.
Sinterklaas.
In 1773, Santa first appeared in the media as Saint Claus.
Saint Eclair? Saint
A.
Klaus.
That's right.
A. Klaus.
Mr. A. Klaus. Yes.
How cool is that?
Now, I dug back in some records to 1804 locally here at the New York Historical Society.
Yeah, he's learning much from my research techniques.
Yes, and did you know that the New York Historical Society was founded with St. Nicholas as its patron saint?
Oh, boy.
Its members largely engaged in the Dutch practice of gift-giving at Christmas.
Awesome.
Yes. In 1809, a writer by the name of Washington Irving.
We all know Washington Irving. He wrote The Legend of Sleepy Hollow. He's a New Yorker, by the way.
Oh, I thought he was that guy on the Harlem Globetrotters.
That's Julius. And he was, Julius
right.
Irving was Dr.
J.
Yeah.
There you go.
See, I know some things.
I didn't. I never, ever said you didn't, honey. Washington Irving, under the pseudonym Diedrich Knickerbocker. Yes, excuse you.
Yes, excuse me.
Included St. Nicholas in his book, A History of New York.
Right.
Nicholas is described as riding into town on a horse. In 1812, Irving revised his book to include Nicholas riding over the trees in a wagon.
Oh, there we go.
I'm thinking there was some good stuff going around New York City then. In 1821, William Gilly printed a poem about Santa Claus, who was dressed in fur and drove a sleigh drawn by a single reindeer.
Okay, now we're getting to something here.
We're getting to Coca-Cola and all the corporations cashing in. That's what we're getting to.
That's right. Well, here it comes. Check it out.
In 1822, dentist Clement Clark Moore is believed by many to have written a poem, quote, an account of a visit from St. Nicholas, which became better known as The Night Before Christmas, gang.
Yay.
Yes, Santa is portrayed as an elf with a miniature sleigh equipped with 8 reindeer, which are named in the poem as Blitzen, Comet, Cupid, Dasher, Dancer, Donner, Prancer.
No, Donder. Prancer.
Donder, yeah?
Donder, yeah.
Yeah.
Prancer and Vixen.
Yes. Others attribute the poem to a contemporary, Henry Livingston Jr., to have since been renamed Donner and Blitzen.
Right. So Donder and Blitzen were renamed Donner and Blitzen in 1822.
1841 saw J.W. Parkinson, a Philadelphia merchant, hired a man to dress up as Kris Kringle in an outfit and climb the chimney of his store. Interesting. So this is, you see where all these pieces are coming from now.
I do.
1863, illustrator Thomas Nast created images of Santa for the Christmas editions of Harper's Magazine. These continued through the 1890s.
Yep.
1860s, President Abraham Lincoln, the Vampire Killer.
That's right. Oh, that was such a good film, by the way. You gotta see it. If you haven't seen Abraham Lincoln, Vampire Hunter, gotta see it because it was phenomenal.
Stick it on the Netflix holiday list, gang.
You gotta see it. You know, you don't think it's going to be good, and we just threw it on as a fluke, and man, we've watched it 5 times.
Oh, yeah.
It was awesome.
I thought it was going to be the worst suck in the world, but...
It was kicking. It was the Matrix of all vampire movies. It was just awesome. Puts Blade to shame. Anyway, go ahead.
Well, Abraham Lincoln actually asked Nast to create a drawing of Santa with some Union soldiers. The image of Santa supporting the enemy had a demoralizing influence on the Confederate Army, an early example of psychological warfare. Look at that.
Wow.
Our jolly old time turned against the enemy.
That was really interesting.
It is. It gets better. In 1897, Francis P. Church, editor of the New York Sun, wrote an editorial in response to a letter from an 8-year-old girl, Virginia O'Hanlon. She had written the paper asking whether there really was a Santa Claus. It has become known as the Yes, Virginia, There Is a Santa Claus letter. And that's how that came about.
That's right.
Now, in 1920, the image of Santa had been standardized to portray a bearded, overweight, jolly man dressed in a red suit with white trim. This is where we broke away from the Asian Saint Nick. Yes.
No, he was always whatever it was for whomever it was.
That's right.
Right.
In 1931, Haddon Sundblom, illustrator of the Coca-Cola Company, drew a series of images in their Christmas advertisements until 1964.
Right.
The company actually holds the trademark for Santa Claus.
Yeah.
And the Coca-Cola Santa design more specifically, but
Right.
it is Santa Claus. Christmas ads including Santa continue to the present day.
Right.
In 1939, and I'm almost done here, copywriter Robert May of the Montgomery Ward Company created a poem about Rudolph, the ninth reindeer. It's like the fifth Beatle, isn't it?
Kinda.
May had been often taunted as a child for being shy, small, and slight. He created an ostracized reindeer with a shiny red nose who became a hero one foggy Christmas Eve. Look for this in theaters, starring Jet Li.
Yeah.
Santa was partway through deliveries when the visibility started to get very bad.
Yeah.
Santa added Rudolph to his team of reindeer to, of course, help illuminate the path. A copy of the poem was given free to the Montgomery Ward customers.
Wow.
There you go.
Could you imagine something so time-honored and standard and inspiring coming from one, boy's miserable, picked-on childhood?
It is pretty amazing when you think about it.
Yeah. And see, that's the good thing about not having a PC life, because you don't learn lessons. That's another thing, just quickly. I want you to get through your list. But, the more PC we get, all people are doing is avoiding the kind of stuff they need to grow.
And stifling a lot of creativity, curbing a lot of possibilities for everyone as far as humanity goes, really.
Right. The human condition means suffering, and it's the only way to grow.
Well, I'm pretty big then.
Yeah.
Ba-dum-cha! Well, in 1949, Johnny Marks wrote the song Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. Rudolph was relocated to the North Pole. And no, I don't think the ASPCA got involved there and gave them any citations.
The Underground Reindeer Railroad.
And so he was originally rejected by the other reindeer who wouldn't let him play in their reindeer games because of his strange-looking nose.
Aww.
The song was actually recorded by Gene Autry and became his all-time bestseller next to, of course, White Christmas.
By Bing Crosby.
It is the most popular song of all time.
Okay. Awesome.
Now, here we go into some bent stuff. In 1993, an urban folktale began to circulate about a Japanese department store displaying a life-size Santa Claus being crucified on a cross.
It never happened.
Yeah, it wasn't real there, gang.
But that's the point, though. I mean, that's just whack. You see how we've changed? You see how we've changed? That timeline it's the degeneration and deterioration of society.
And you can almost see it steeply when it veers right off course there.
Yeah.
Now, in 1997, this is the last entrance in my lovely little write-up here. Artist Robert Canadella, drew a painting of a crucified Santa Claus.
Right.
I don't know how you draw a painting, but that's what it says. It was displayed in the window of the New York's Art Students League and received intense criticism from some religious groups. This was, before PC was around, so it was the religious groups that were starting to get offended.
Right.
His drawing was a protest, actually.
Right.
He attempted to show how Santa Claus had replaced Jesus Christ as the most important personality at Christmas time. And isn't it interesting to note now that you don't even see mention of that kind of stuff anymore?
No.
No, now it's Santa Claus is black.
Right. I'm surprised. Where's the feminists screaming about Santa and Mrs. Claus being home doing all the housework?
I don't know. And I actually brought that up in Crash Talk.
I know.
My last Crash Talk this week here earlier, or last week, I should say, I brought that, yeah.
Yeah, I know. It's just crazy. It is. Well, yes, and that's true. And now what we're going to do, though, now that we've established all that good stuff, is talk about, we know how messed up America is. Sorry, I got to say it. It just is. And that's because we're just all messed up now. But they still have it going on in the other parts of the world. So we're going to talk about Christmas global traditions and customs. And we'll start with my home country.
When we get back, we've got one more commercial break.
We do?
Yeah. It's a sexy one. You'll like it.
All right.
Okay.
All right.
All right. We'll be back in 2 minutes, gang. Hang on.
So do you guys think being fast is better than being slow?
Yes! It's better to be fast, to not be bitten by a werewolf, and then you'll be turned into one, and you'll have to stay in, and then you'll have to get shade because you'll be too hot, and then you're like... which means I wish I was back to a human.
What?
It's not complicated. Faster is better. And AT&T is the nation's fastest 4G LTE network for your iPhone 5.
With 160 more miles per tank, the distances aren't getting shorter. The trucks are going farther. The new 2013 Ram 1500. With the best-in-class fuel economy, engineered to move heaven and earth. Guts, glory, Ram.
I stood outside assessing the situation. I knew it could be rough in there, but how rough, there was no way to know for sure.
Hey, guys.
Daddy, it's pink!
But hey, a new house, it's a blank canvas, and we got a great one, thanks to a really low mortgage rate from Navy Federal Credit Union.
Pink?
So she's a princess. You got a problem with that?
Hoorah! Hoorah!
4 million members, 4 million stories. Navy Federal Credit Union.
The rich Sony sound and Vio. Sound out.
Sony.
HTLA Radio 1.
From all of us at HTLA Radio 1 New York, happy holidays.
And you are back with us. This is Straight Talk with Kate and Crash, and you're listening to us from HTLA Radio 1 New York. It's crazy, the weather today and yesterday and the day before.
70 degrees in Central Park most of the day yesterday.
And
I just about had a cow.
It's insane because now we're getting back down to freezing and snow, but I am very much hoping for a white Christmas. So,
well, it is in the speculatory weather.
Gosh, I hope so.
Yeah?
Totally. Yeah. So what we were doing before the break was discussing traditions in America and a timeline of how the evolution of Santa, etc., occurred. And now I'd like to talk a little bit about global Christmas traditions. And I'm absolutely going to start with my home country. Well, I have two, as hubby has two. England. And there's some really great things. Obviously, English Christmases are huge and traditional and all this kind of stuff. And I'm going to get a bunch of poopy cocky from Daddy here because I make lasagna on Christmas Day and he wants his traditional turkey and stuff. And, being Irish and Scottish and all that good stuff, That's what he wants. But I still want my traditional. You know, he doesn't have to do all the stuff that I do. So I make a tray of lasagna, I stick it in the oven, boom, dinner's done. You know, he doesn't get that whole part. Tradition be damned, I'm tired. But really, traditionally in England, the traditional Christmas dinner is roast turkey with vegetables and sauces. And for dessert, it's a rich, fruity Christmas pudding with brandy sauce, mince pies, pastry cases filled with a mixture of chopped dried fruit, all kinds of good stuff.
Yes, well, Santa ain't having his prima nocta with me. Ba-dum-cha! Come on, that was good. Huh?
It was good. And the English also enjoy very beautiful Christmas music. They love to decorate Christmas trees and hang up evergreen branches, just as we do here in the house. And one of England's customs is mumming.
And they like to do it in Ireland, whether you like it or not.
In the middle, we'll get to your countries, honey. Give me a second. In the Middle Ages, people called mummers put on masks, and they acted out Christmas plays. These plays are still performed in towns and villages today. Very cool. Now, the English gift giver is called Father Christmas. He wears a long red or green robe, and he leaves presents and stockings on Christmas Eve. However, just as we do here in our house, the gifts aren't usually opened until the following afternoon. Well, we don't wait till afternoon. The kids are up at 4 a.m., and that's it. But Christmas in England began in AD 596, when St. Augustine landed on her shores with monks who wanted to bring Christianity to the Anglo-Saxons. Father Christmas delivers, like I said, during the night before Christmas. The children will leave an empty stocking or pillowcase hanging at the end of the bed. If you don't have a mantle fireplace, I guess you can leave a pillowcase. You know, I'm kind of digging the pillowcase idea.
I imagine you would, yes.
Mm-hmm. And in the morning, they hope it'll be filled with presents. Unlike me, who knows mine will be filled with presents.
Mm-hmm.
In England, the day after Christmas is called Boxing Day.
Oh, yes.
It's in Canada, too.
Jolly good.
That's right. Because boys used to go around collecting money in clay boxes. And when the boxes were full, they broke them open. In England, Christmas dinner was usually eaten at lunchtime on December 25th during daylight.
Yes.
And in England, the only thing that people ate on the day before the feast was frumenti, which is a kind of porridge made from corn. Oh, I'd like to try that, actually. Over the years, the recipes changed. Eggs, fruit, spice, lumps of meat, and dried plums were added. The whole mixture was wrapped in a cloth and boiled.
Oh.
That is how plum pudding began.
Aye.
Okay, let's just hop a little bit over to Ireland. What's going on over there?
Oh, well, you've got to love it, Missy. It's quite simple over in Ireland. We just get drunk. No, to be totally truthful with you, sorry, I'm having a few too many. Christmas in Ireland lasts from Christmas Eve to the Feast of the Epiphany on January 6th, which is referred to Little Christmas.
Wait, it's also Old Christmas Day.
Oh.
Now we learned that today.
Holy schmoly Christmas Day.
Right.
Ireland's Christmas is more religious than a time of fun.
Yeah, all of Ireland's everything is more religious.
Yeah, there is that. Lighted candles are placed in the windows on Christmas Eve as a guide that Joseph and Mary might be looking for shelter. I used to use them to come home drunk.
That's really what they're for.
Yeah, that's what I think, too, yeah. The candles are usually red in color and decorated with sprigs of holly.
Yes.
And not holly. Huh?
You can't miss a red candle when you're drunk.
No. Irish women bake a seed cake for each person in the house. They also make 3 puddings, one for each day of the Epiphany, such as Christmas, New Year's Day, and the 12th night.
Mm-hmm.
After the Christmas evening meal, bread and milk are left out at the door, unlatched as a symbol of hospitality.
Right, we do that with cookies and milk for Santa.
That's right. St. Stephen's Day, the day after Christmas, is almost as important. Yeah, thanks for letting me talk. With football matches and meetings going on, for children, the Wren Boys procession is their big event. Boys go from door to door with a fake wren on a stick, singing with violins, accordions, and harmonicas and horns to accompany them. The reason for the ceremony is to ask for money for the starving wren. That is, for their own pockets.
Oh, well, it's kind of like the Boxing Day tradition then.
It kind of is.
Prettier with the bird.
It was probably forced upon us.
What's up with Scotland, though, before we get into the more
I would expect
sophisticated of cultures.
Pretty much like Ireland, oppressed by England to this day.
Hey, now, it's not our fault.
The Scottish people actually have their big celebrations on New Year's Day, called Homogmany. Say that 5 times fast, you bastard. Hogmanay.
Hogmanay.
A long time ago, there is a superstition that it is bad luck for the fire to go out on Christmas Eve. Since it is at this time that the elves are abroad and only a raging fire will help keep them from coming down the chimney.
Oh, that's very interesting.
Aye.
Cool.
On Christmas Day, people sometimes make big bonfires. Sorry, lass, I've had a little bit of the Scotch. They make big bonfires and dance around them to the playing of the pipes.
See, I'd like that.
I wasn't asking, woman. Bannock cakes made out of oatmeal are traditionally eaten at Christmas.
Oh, so like oatmeal cookies. I can do that.
It's not oatmeal, woman. In Scotland, Christmas had traditionally been celebrated very quietly because the Church of Scotland, the Presbyterian Church, has never placed any great emphasis on the Christmas festival. However, the Scots are members of the Church of England because we love England so bloody much.
As you should.
Or other churches generally celebrating Christmas in the same way as the English people disapproved of Christmas, for they believed that there is too much riotous festivity that went on. It's just us Scots being natural.
That's right.
Nowadays, these things are held at Hogmanay. But they do celebrate Christmas with some very interesting customs.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do.
There we go. And that was my Scottish Christmas breakdown.
So exciting.
Aye. Yeah, why don't I get you to do a Sweden? Ooh. Oh, no, you want to do France.
Well, I'm English and French, and you're Irish and Scottish, so there you go.
Bloody hell.
I know. So in France, of course, Christmas is called Noël. This comes from the French phrase "les bonnes nouvelles," which means the good news. It's
my dog.
I had a dog named Noël. She was our Christmas dog.
Aye.
Gee, Mrs.
Bloody dogs.
So it refers to the gospel. But in southern France, some people burn a log in their homes from Christmas Eve until New Year's Day also. And that stems from the ancient tradition in which farmers would use part of the log to ensure good luck for the next year's harvest. Now, important to note that Italians call Christmas Il Natale, meaning the birthday. So, there you go. On Christmas Eve, children leave their shoes by the fireplace in France to be filled with gifts from Père Noël, Father Christmas. In the morning, they also find that sweets, fruits, nuts, and small toys have been hung on the tree. I kind of like that.
All right.
Yeah, like I don't do enough decorating. Nearly every French home at Christmas time displays a nativity scene or crèche, which serves as the focus for the Christmas celebration. It's often peopled with little clay figures called santons or little saints.
Oh, santons.
Santons, oui. In addition to the usual Holy Family, shepherds, and magi, the craftsmen also produce figures in the form of local dignitaries and characters. The craftsmanship involved in creating the gaily colored santon is quite astounding, and the molds have been passed from generation to generation since the 17th century. Yeah. Throughout December.
So I could get a little clay Bob Dole?
No.
No.
Throughout December, oh, dang nabbit, the figures are sold at annual Christmas fairs in Marseille.
It's your tiny elf head.
I have such a little head, and my headphones never stay on my tiny little head. Sorry about that. Okay. Now, the Christmas tree's never been particularly popular in France, and though the use of the Yule logs faded, the French make a traditional Yule log-shaped cake. Okay?
Right.
It's called the bûche de Noël, which means Christmas log. The cake, among other food, is in great abundance, and it's served at the grand feast of the season, which is called
La Bouetton.
No, La Réveillon.
I was close, see?
Right. La Réveillon is a very late supper held after midnight mass on Christmas Eve.
Oh.
The menu for the meal varies according to the regional culinary tradition. Goose in some places, Burgundy, it's turkey with chestnuts, and the Parisians feast upon oysters and pâte de foie gras.
Ooh.
Well, yeah, of course, duh, oysters and foie gras. What else in Paris? La Réveillon may consist of poultry, ham, salads, cake, fruit, and wine. Right. There you go. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well, now, this is kind of interesting. let's go. I don't know. Let's spin the old wheel and go to Iran. Let's see what Christmas in the great Satan's homeland is like. Shall we?
Wait, no offense to American Iranians or anything, or Iranian Iranians, but
stop it. You're being too PC.
Well, I don't feel that to say, to call out a whole group, a culture of people because there's some bad ones.
Actually, the great Satan is a direct quote from the Quran. Thank you.
Well, they're not talking about Iran, though. I have studied the Quran, remember? So there you go.
Touché. Well, Christmas in Iran is known as the Little Feast. Yes, for the first 25 days of December, a great feast is observed.
No, a great fast is observed.
Feast, fast.
It's a big difference.
It's the Feast and the Furious. A great fast is observed, during which no meat, eggs, milk, or cheese is eaten. No wonder they're so pissed off.
I was going to say.
It is a time of peace and meditation.
Baloney.
Ooh, that's a good time to attack. A time for attending services at the church. When the fast is over, the feast is begun. For plenty of meat is prepared for the Christmas dinner. Yes, it is.
Goat.
Now, Christmas Eve is the last... No, it's goat's eyes. Christmas Eve is the last day of the fast. Almost before dawn on Christmas Day, the people attend Mass to receive communion. Look at that. Communion?
Well, they're kind.
And it is not until they have received this communion that they are permitted to break fast.
Breakfast.
Or breakfast.
Right.
Yeah, there you go. The boys and girls of Iran have never heard of Santa Claus, so they do not exchange gifts at Christmas. But they do receive new clothes in the form of bomb vests. Oh, I'm sorry, I read that wrong. Which they proudly wear all during the Happy Christmas week. A dish eaten for Christmas Day is kind of a chicken stew called harasa. It is cooked in large quantities and lasts several days. And thank God, because we've been starving for a month. What a way to celebrate. Is that not backwards and bent?
Ew.
My God, we've got to get on the PC boat and go over there and straighten that out.
For reals. Wow, that's just...
Interesting take.
I wonder, I'm curious to see. Now, in Syria, they do the old Christmas, December... Oh, that's January 6th. Never mind. December 6th, they have a special mass in church in honor of St. Nicholas. So just another Middle Eastern country, but they celebrate St. Nicholas.
Mm-hmm.
Who, they have... It's a different one, though. But it's the same kind of legend where he was a kind and generous man.
Okay.
Right. On Christmas Eve, everyone in the family carries a lit candle. They stand around an unlit bonfire outside of their house. The youngest child, usually the son of the family, look at that, patriarchy.
No way.
Reads the Christmas story, after which the bonfire is lit. The way the flames spread shows the luck of the house in the coming year. When the fire burns, psalms are sung, and when it sinks, everyone leaps over the embers making wishes. I kind of dig that.
That's kind of cool.
It is.
Little bit of California Christmas there. Yeah.
Early on Christmas morning, everyone goes to Mass, and at this Mass, another bonfire is lit in the middle of the floor. While the wood... That's a little scary. While the wood is blazing, ancient hymns are sung, and the celebrant carries a figure of the Christ child around the building. After this, the celebrant then touches the nearest person in a touch of peace. The touch is passed from one to another until everyone has received it.
Cool.
That's another cool tradition, right?
Mm-hmm.
Christmas dinner in Syria is chicken, oranges, and nuts and pastries. But it's on New Year's Day that children receive presents. Wow, they got to wait a whole nother week, those poor kids. They're brought their gifts by the youngest of the camels that carried the 3 wise men to Bethlehem. The children leave water and hay outside the house of the camel, and in the morning the water and hay are gone, replaced by the presents.
That's really something. Now I'm concerned though
cool.
when they light that second fire
in the middle of the church floor.
Did the firemen actually have to wait to put out the church until the ceremony's over?
I don't know. I guess it burns out.
I bet you'd have to.
You got to jump over the embers.
Or maybe the fireman's the first guy you touch to let him know it's over.
Oh yeah, your peace.
And then he's holding the hose with all the other firemen, so that spreads the peace.
That's funny, but that's really amazing to me that the differences in those closely near countries, but
and the similarities too. Don't forget those.
Right.
We're going at countries all over the world here. Some of them more obscure than others, and you're still seeing some of the same similarities with, well, I guess drastic differences for the differences, but
correct. Well, I want to talk a little bit about China.
Okay, can you do that in 2 minutes?
I guess if I have to.
Well, you could stretch it out and we could come back with that.
Okay.
All right.
Whatever pleases you, sir.
Excellent. We'll be back in 2 minutes, gang.
Hi, welcome to Toyota. I'm Jan.
Hi, Jack's gonna pick us a car.
Yeah, Toyotas is so reliable, he could drive it one day. Great timing. It's our Toyota Time Sales event.
Camry, safe, reliable. What color?
Oh, red with a cool stereo. We have that.
Now you can get a new 2013 Camry with 0% financing. Or lease this Camry LE now for just $209 a month. And you get Toyota Care 2-year maintenance. Toyota, let's go places.
The images you're about to see may be difficult to look at. Sadly, every year millions of innocent cakes are mangled, mistreated, and hurt. But there is something you can do. Go to the freezer section and pick up new Cool Whip frosting. It's whipped, fluffy, and perfectly sweet, so it spreads on easily, leaving cakes unharmed. Please help. Cool Whip frosting. Together, we can change the way cakes are frosted.
It's a stick revolution. Now skin goes shine free and naturally matte in just one step. New Fit Me Stick Foundation from Maybelline, New York. The first of its kind. Fresh gel foundation with an anti-shine powder core inside. Dissolves oil while it blends to a natural matte finish. For coverage that's fresh, flawless, one step perfect. New Fit Me Stick Foundation from Maybelline.
Stick with us.
Maybe she's born with it. Maybe it's Maybelline.
What are we gonna do today?
Stay strong. Take on the heat. Bounce back.
Get healthy looking hair that stands up to styling. Discover Platinum Strength, new from Tresemme. It repairs up to 2 years of damage by reinforcing hair's natural protective barrier. For resilient hair with all its beautiful strength. What will you do with your salon strong, chair-worthy hair? Tresemme, professional, affordable.
HTLA Radio 1.
From all of us at HTLA Radio 1 New York, happy holidays. Welcome back, everybody. You are listening to Straight Talk, the world of Christmas.
Feliz Navidad.
Yes. Yes. And you are listening to that on HTLA Radio 1 New York. I am your lovely host, Crash Jesus.
He's lovely.
And she is your other lovely host, Kitty.
I'm lovely.
El Fierso Kittioso. So now, before the break, we were going to...
Yeah, I just wanted to touch a bit on China.
Oh.
Well, it did, because Christians in China celebrate by lighting their houses with beautiful paper lanterns and decorating their Christmas trees, which they call trees of light, with paper chains, paper flowers, and paper lanterns. Cool. And, yeah, it's very cool. The Chinese children hang muslin stockings in a way to visit from Santa Claus, who they call Dun Che Lao Ren, or something like that. Yeah. Dun Che Lao Ren. There we go. Which means Christmas old man. Very cool. Since the vast majority of the Chinese people are not Christian, the main winter festival in China is the Chinese New Year, which takes place towards the end of January. Now officially called the Spring Festival, it is a time when children receive new clothing, eat luxurious meals, receive new toys, and enjoy firecracker displays. An important aspect of the New Year celebration is the worship of ancestors. Boy, they don't forget their traditions. Maybe that's why they're still together.
And about to take over the world.
Yeah. Portraits and paintings of ancestors are brought out and hung in the main room of the home. Very cool. Very, very cool. Yes.
That's very cool. It is. It is. And that looks like that tradition's been around a long time.
Yeah, a lot longer than we have.
Well, yeah, I'm only 46.
I mean the country.
Oh! Yeah.
Yeah. So there's a bunch of really cool trivia that I've dug up as well on Christmas, and you have too. There
yes,
you go.
Of course. I'm absolutely full of Christmas trivia.
Right, because gosh, I don't know where my Christmas trivia went.
Well, I'd like to start
Here we
off.
Go.
Oh?
Go ahead, you please.
Well, I'm going to start off with the legend of the famous stripper Candy Cane.
I was going to say Christmas candy canings.
That too.
Okay.
That too.
Lots of red stripes going on.
No, candy canes, actually, their origin during the 17th century. craftsmen created white sticks of candy in the shape of shepherd's crooks, a.k.a. the candy cane shape, at the suggestion of the choir master at the Cologne Cathedral in Germany.
Ooh.
And that cathedral, I got to tell you, that's gorgeous. That Gothic, joyous place it is. It's man, if I could have a house that looked like that, I'd be styling. The candy treats were given to children to keep them quiet during ceremonies at the Living Creek.
Creek, Crash Creek, whatever.
Creek Jesus with you tonight. Yes, I am. Creek Jesus.
Your Crash Jesus.
Crash Jesus. Nativity scene, yes.
Oh, my God.
Yes, the nativity scene for lesser people. Yes. And the custom of passing out the candy crooks at such ceremonies soon spread throughout Europe because it kept the kiddies quiet.
Yeah.
Wonder what they did about the sugar high. But anyway.
Yeah, good point.
According to the National Confectioners Association.
That's where the canes came in.
That was where the caning came in, yeah. The National Confectioners Association in 1847, a German immigrant, August Imgard. August Imgard. Ist ein deutsches Auto? Nein, accurate. August Imgard used the candy cane to decorate a Christmas tree in Wooster, Ohio. More than 50 years later, Bob McCormick of Albany, Georgia, supposedly made candy canes as treats for family, friends, and local shopkeepers. McCormick's brother-in-law, a Catholic priest, Gregory Keller, invented a machine in the 1950s that automated the production of candy canes, thus eliminating the usual laborious process of creating the treats, and the popularity of the candy cane grew. More recent explanations of the candy cane's symbolism hold that the color white represents Christ's purity, and the red, the blood that he shed, and the presence of the 3 red stripes, the Holy Trinity. While factual evidence for these notions does not exist, they have become increasingly common and at times are even represented as fact. Regardless, the candy cane remains a favorite holiday treat and decoration.
Yeah, that's just that, they have to throw some religion in there. They had to come up with something to make it okay to have candy canes.
Well, and it kind of works all right there. Yeah.
It's kind of baloney.
Yeah.
But anyway. Yeah. So Christmas carols, they're very popular and cool. And the earliest Christmas music compositions were obviously chants and hymns from church, right?
Of course.
The original carols referred to a circle dance, which didn't actually have any singing. That came later. As the church struggled against the influences of pagan customs, the singing of carols was barred from sacred services.
Ooh.
Yeah. However, outside the church, nativity carols were written and became popular. Nearly all were simple folk songs created from people from the countryside who just wanted to sing and celebrate the holiday.
Right.
So St. Francis of Assisi is credited with bringing carols into the formal worship of the church during a Christmas midnight mass in a cave in Greccio in the province of Umbria in 1223. It's said that the music sung that night was more akin to what we know as carols than to church hymns.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Carols enjoyed further development and popularity when they were used in the mystery plays of the Middle Ages. Wandering minstrels traveled from hamlet to castle, performing carols in the distant past. In later years, villages had their own bands of waits. Waits were originally watchmen who patrolled the streets and byways of the old walled cities, keeping guard against fire and singing out the hours of the night. During the holiday season, they would include some carols for the people along the way, although some folks complained that they would rather get a good night's sleep than have somebody singing under their window. Eventually, the term was used to describe groups of musicians who sang and played for various civic events during the Christmas season.
And then they became the men of the night watch, and they watched over the North Wall.
That's right. Winter's coming. Yes. So, yeah, very interesting. Yeah, today, all you got to do is look at small town newspaper, and you'll see dozens of caroling events, not just on Christmas Eve, but throughout the entire holiday.
Well, there you go. And now, my favorite little tidbit, Mrs. Claus.
Me.
You betcha. Now, where did Mrs. Claus come from, you might ask, Crash? Well, though no mention was made of her, Santa Claus's wife made her debut in 1899 in Santa Claus on a Sleigh Ride, one of a set of 32 books by Catherine Lee Bates, composer of America the Beautiful.
Wow.
In 1908, another story encouraged children to start leaving a little food for Santa Claus because he would be tired after his hard work. Carrots and other treats were later added for his reindeer.
Yeah, we do carrots too. Yep.
Of course we do.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, Santa always left a note thanking the children for their kindness. A 1910 advertisement for Ivory soap showed a child sitting in front of a fireplace with a bowl of water, a towel, and a bar of Ivory soap so that Santa could wash up after coming down the chimney. Following the ad to the letter, soiled washclothes and dirty water was often found on Christmas morning.
Wow.
I wonder what Dad actually washed.
I don't know, but the funny thing is that's great because Santa gets cookies and milk and stuff, and the reindeer get carrots, and Mrs. Claus gets dirty laundry.
But
perfect.
Oh, wait a minute. That's traditionalism.
Yes, isn't it, though?
Feminism, not there.
No.
You know, and that's really kind of the thing that I've been waiting for. You know, with all this talk of, well, Santa's got to be black, or Santa's got to be a penguin, or Santa's this and Santa's that. You know, why is nobody bitched that Mrs. Claus is not a feminist?
Right, exactly. Because they haven't gotten there yet.
They haven't thought it up yet. Well, there you go, guys. There you go. Food
Run
for
with
2014. You go destroy Mrs. Claus now.
Yeah. So let's stick to something a little more traditional, and certainly one of my favorite traditions is the old mistletoe.
Oh.
No, the mistletoe.
Right.
Not the Christmas G-string. So, mistletoe was held sacred by the Norse, the Celtic Druids, and the North American Indians.
Oh.
Yeah, the Druid priests would cut mistletoe from an oak tree with a golden sickle, and the branches had to be caught before they touched the ground. Then they divided the branches into many sprigs and distributed them to the people, who hung them over doorways as protection against thunder, lightning, and other evils. Right.
I was going to say demons, yeah.
The folklore continued over the centuries, and it was believed that a sprig placed in a baby's cradle would protect the child from goblins. Now, why didn't you get me mistletoe when Trista was born?
That's simple, my dear, because goblins don't exist.
That's not true. Giving a sprig to the first cow calving after New Year would protect the entire herd, apparently, too.
Yes.
See, it doesn't matter what the things are. It's the belief in them that matters.
Well, true. Yeah. True. And because I think that's just a big load of horsepucky, it's not on me to go to the Supreme Court and file a suit and ban this information from ever seeing the light of day ever again.
I know, but people do it, right?
It is what it is.
Yeah.
Take it or leave it.
And mistletoe is actually a symbol for peace and joy. The idea originated from the Druids. You know, whenever enemies met under the mistletoe in the forest, they had to lay down their arms and observe a truce until the next day. So this is where the custom of hanging a ball of mistletoe from the ceiling and exchanging kisses under it as a sign of goodwill and friendship comes from. Right?
Interesting.
Now, here's something even more interesting. In the 18th century, the exchanging of kisses between a man and a woman was adopted as a promise to marry. At Christmas, a young lady standing under a ball of mistletoe cannot refuse to be kissed. So, the kiss could mean deep romance, lasting friendship, and goodwill. It was believed, though, that if the girl remained unkissed, standing under mistletoe, she couldn't expect to marry the following year. Well, here's something really interesting. Mistletoe is actually an aerial parasite that has no roots of its own, and it lives off the tree that it attaches itself to.
Nice.
Without the tree, it would die. It was thought to be sacred by ancient Europeans, and Druid priests employed it in their sacrifices to the gods, while the Celts felt it possessed miraculous healing powers. In fact, in the Celtic language, mistletoe means all heal. It not only cured diseases, but could also render poisons harmless, make humans and animals prolific, in other words, prolifically procreating, keep one safe from witchcraft, protect the house from ghosts, and even make them speak. Oh, we got to call the Ghost Adventures guys and tell them to get some mistletoe.
Mistletoe, yep.
Yep. With all of this, it was thought to bring good luck to anyone privileged to have it, right?
Right.
So, you know. Actually, the Norse offer the most beautiful symbolic myth about mistletoe. The story goes that mistletoe is the sacred plant of Frigga, goddess of love and the mother of Baldur, the god of the summer sun. Baldur had a dream of death, which greatly alarmed his mother, for should he die, all life on earth would end. In an attempt to keep this from happening, Frigga went at once to air, fire, water, earth, and every animal and plant, seeking a promise that no harm would come to her son. Balder could now not be hurt by anything on earth or under the earth. But Balder had one enemy. Who do you think that was? Loki.
Oh.
Yeah, the god of evil, and he knew of one plant that Frigga had overlooked in her quest to keep her son safe.
The fifth element.
Uh-huh. It grew neither on the earth nor under the earth, but on apple and oak trees. It was lowly mistletoe. So Loki made an arrow tip of the mistletoe, gave to the blind god of winter Hoder, who shot it, striking Balder dead. Yeah, right? The sky paled, and all things in earth and heaven wept for the sun god. For 3 days, each element tried to bring Balder back to life. Frigga, the goddess and his mother, finally restored him. It is said the tears she shed for her son turned into the pearly white berries on the mistletoe plant, and in her joy, Frigga kissed everyone who passed beneath the tree on which it grew. The story ends with a decree that who should ever stand under the humble mistletoe, no harm should befall them, only a kiss, a token of love.
There we go. Isn't that touching?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
I knew you'd like that.
Yeah.
Yes, I did. Well, I think that about wraps it up for our pre-Christmas special edition of Straight Talk.
Well, it's almost Christmas Eve now, so...
It's getting on close to there, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, you will be able to tune in tomorrow night for Crash Talk, 9 p.m. Eastern on HTLA, HTLA973.com. Again, if you're checking us out, you can always check us out there.
That's right. And stay tuned because Wednesday, Christmas Day night, Christmas night,
is our special Queen address.
Our live video cast.
Yes.
Yes, so stay tuned for that.
Yes. Links will be posted up on all major HTLA outlets. Yes, that's our Facebook page, our Twitter, and, of course, HTLA973.com.
Mm-hmm.
There it is again. So I'm going to start the old music there, honey. You can do your traditional sign-out, and I'd just sign off by saying Merry Christmas to all, and to all a good night.
And we have to thank our sponsors and our advertisers and our listeners. And to you all, please have a very, very Merry Christmas. I won't be able to speak to you again now until after Christmas, but please have a wonderful Christmas Eve night tomorrow. Drive safe, everyone. Lots of love and messages to us and to you. And, yeah, it's going to be really great. Like I said, stay tuned. Next week we're going to have another Kate and Crash Talk, but after January 1st, we're going to have guests. It's going to be awesome. So keep it right here. And again, HTLA973.com. Tweet us, write us, whatever it is. And always tune in on Mondays because you never know who's going to show up on Straight Talk to talk straight. Good night.
From all of us at HTLA Radio 1 New York, happy holidays!